Norton University Graduate School. English for specific purposes. Topic 1. Introduction to ESP. Introduction. English for specific purposes (ESP) is a subset of English as a second or foreign language. It usually refers to teaching the English language to university students or people already in employment with reference to the particular vocabulary and skills they need. As with any language taught for specific purposes, a given course of ESP will focus on one occupation or profession. The professions include, among others, technical English, scientific English, English for medical professionals, English for aviation, English for waiters, English for tourism, etc. Despite the seemingly limited focus, a course of ESP can have a wide-ranging impact, as is the case with environmental English. Definition: ESP concerns the emergence of a number of activities, movements, and subjects that are carried out predominantly, though not exclusively, in English across the world. Stephens, 1977. It looks at the purpose for which the student needs to learn English. For example, for occupational or for study purposes. ESP is a term that refers to teaching or studying English for a particular career, like law, medicine, or for business in general. Hutchinson and Waters, 1992, emphasized ESP to be an approach and not a product, which means language learning, not language use, is highlighted. They draw attention to a learning-centered approach in which all decisions as to content and method are based on the learner's reason for learning. Coffey, 1985, observes that ESP is a quick and economical use of the English language to pursue a course of academic study, EAP, or effectiveness in paid employment, EOP. Lorenzo, 2005, reminds us that ESP concentrates more on language in context than on teaching grammar and language structures. Carter, 1983, believes that self-direction is important in the sense that an ESP course is concerned with turning learners into users of the language. Definition: Continued. English for specific purposes or English for special purposes refers to the teaching and learning of English as a second or foreign language. There, the aim of the learner is to use English in particular domain. ESP is defined to meet specific needs of the learners. ESP makes use of underlying methodology and activities of the discipline itself. ESP is centered on the language appropriate to these activities in terms of grammar, lexics, register, study skills, discourse, and genre. Characteristics of ESP course. ESP as a course is categorized into two. 1. Absolute characteristics. 2. Variable characteristics. Robinson, 1991, also suggests two absolute criteria for defining ESP courses. 1. The first is that ESP programs are normally goal-oriented. The second is that They derive from a needs analysis. The needs analysis will state as accurately as possible what the learners will have to do when speaking the language. Absolute characteristics of ESP. The absolute characteristics that ESP courses are designed to meet the specific needs of the learner, related in content to particular disciplines or occupations, centered on language specific to those disciplines or occupations. 4. In contrast to general English, ESP is defined to meet specific needs of the learners. ESP makes use of underlying methodology and activities of the discipline itself. It is centered on the language appropriate to these activities in terms of grammar, lexis, register, study skills, discourse, and genre. Variable characteristics of ESP course. The variable characteristics are that courses may be restricted in the skills to be learned, not be taught according to a particular methodology. Variable characteristics may be related to or designed for specific disciplines, may use in particular situations different methodologies from general English, is likely to be designed for adult learners either at an institute or at a workplace, is generally designed for intermediate and advanced students. Most of the ESP courses assume some basic knowledge of the language systems. Generally, ESP has the following features: authentic materials, purpose, related orientation, self-direction. ESP is more relevant than the general English. ESP is used as a register analysis. ESP is used as a rhetorical and discourse approach. ESP is used as a communicative approach. ESP is used as a target situation analysis. Register analysis. Register analysis has been defined as an attempt to analyze the linguistic foundations of language we use in given situations, and the ways in which the language we speak or write varies according to the type of situation. Register analysis has been a strong research area in linguistics for several decades. Many people are now working with examples of genuine text in the hope of establishing the linguistic features which characterize them. Text linguistics, discourse analysis, pragmatics, and register and genre all depend on communicative events which have taken place. Rhetorical art or skill of speaking or writing formally and effectively, especially as a way to persuade or influence people. Discourse, formal and orderly and usually extended expression of thought on the subject. Who is your target learner? What do you know about your target learner's goals? ESP is a generic term used to indicate an approach practiced in teaching and learning of content-oriented English for any very specific purpose. Types of ESP. The major types of ESP are telepathy. It is the ability to read another person's thoughts. Clairvoyance, the ability to see events or objects happening somewhere else. Precognition, the ability to see the future. Retrocognition, the ability to see into the distant past. Mediumship, the ability to channel that experience. Teaching business English. Business English students are some of the most common ESP learners. Teaching to the IELTS and TOEFL test. Teaching aviation English. Teaching tourism English. Teaching medical English. The importance of ESP. ESP concentrate more on language in context than on teaching grammar and language structures. The ESP focal point is that English is not taught as a subject separated from the student's real world or wishes. Instead, it is integrated into a subject matter area important to the learners. Why do we study English for specific purposes? More and more individuals are seeking to improve their English language skills for highly specific academic or professional reasons. Each curriculum is centered on the language and culture specific to the field, while teaching grammar, vocabulary, common style, and study skills.